You have tuned in to a segment of the Grind Never Stops podcast. So guys, what a game it was between Game 7 of the Eastern Conference semifinals between the Atlanta Hawks and the Philadelphia 76ers. And this was a must-win for both teams. And for the Sixers, they should have won. And the Hawks came to Wells Fargo Center and left Wells Fargo Center with a steal of victory against the number 1 seeded Sixers. And we will talk about what's gonna happen for the Philadelphia 76ers in this long off season. But for the Hawks, Trae Young came to the Wells Fargo Center and at one point was 1 for 15 from the floor. And the Sixers did not take advantage of that stat. And the Sixers should have played much better. Because in the first quarter, Sixers only outscored the Hawks by 3. In the third, Sixers scored only 18 in the second. In the third, Sixers scored less 3 points than the Hawks. And in the fourth, Hawks also won that quarter. So Hawks won from the second quarter to the fourth. And the Sixers won only the first quarter. And Trae Young was 1 for 15 from the floor. He ended up shooting 5 for 23. Made 4 big jump shots in the fourth quarter, as he had 21 points and 10 assists. But the player of the game is not Trae Young, is Mr. Kevin Huerter, who had 27 points and 7 rebounds with a career high in the playoffs on 10 for 18 from the floor. So you're trying to tell me a defensive player of the year candidate cannot guard Kevin Huerter? And Curry was guarding Kevin Huerter, but as you guys all know, Bogdanovic was a shooting guard with Danilo Gallinari, and Kevin Huerter was playing the 3 position. Collins had great defensively. John Collins had 16 rebounds, and all of them were defensive rebounds, and that gave extra possession. That started the fast break for the Atlanta Hawks. Clint Capella had only 13 points and 6 rebounds, but he was outmatched by Joel Embiid. And also Bogdanovic struggled from 3, but that didn't matter because the Sixers did not take advantage of this. And this is another playoff disappointment for the team in Pennsylvania. Because what is Ben Simmons doing on the floor? The guy's a starting point guard, 6'9". In 35 minutes, he attempted 4 field goals, 5 points, 8 rebounds, and 13 assists. And late in the fourth quarter, he had space for a wide open and 1 dunk. Instead of that, he passed it to Matisse Thybulle, who got fouled and made 1 out of 2. With Ben Simmons, if he dunked that, he would have scored 2 points and had a chance for the 3-point play. So I don't know what Ben Simmons is doing for the 76ers. I honestly don't know. And I really think that they need to get rid of that bum. And I'm a Sixers fan. I've been a Sixers fan for the longest time. And I thought Ben Simmons would actually develop this season. And yes, he had big games this season. But as soon as the playoffs start, he starts being passive and doing nothing on the damn floor. And he's garbage. I don't care if he grabbed 8 rebounds and had playoff high 13 assists. He had 5 points. And guys, who's on the other side on the point guard? A 6'2" point guard out of Oklahoma City. And his name is Trae Young. So Ben Simmons needs to take advantage of the small dudes in the backcourt of the Hawks. But he's doing nothing. Because now it's another disappointment, and they're gonna go to Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid doesn't deserve the blame. Joel Embiid does not deserve to blame. Why? Because he had an MVP type season. Ben Simmons might be a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, but he's a bum on the offensive end. He's trash, garbage, all these kind of things. Ben Simmons is. And I kept giving Ben Simmons passes like James Harden. But you cannot get a pass when you score 5 points in a damn semifinals Game 7 game. That cannot happen, Ben Simmons. And that gives a lot of pressure on the GM, Daryl Morey, to start to get rid of Ben Simmons. Joel Embiid doesn't deserve to go. He's been playing his effort, and you saw in his face. He played great. He shot 11 for 21 from the floor, had 31 points and 11 rebounds, and what he's been doing all season long. But this is about Ben Simmons, because everyone, he's the Defensive Player of the Year candidate. He could have won it. He hasn't developed nothing. Remember 2 years ago when they played the Celtics in the second round? In game 1 and 2, he averaged 3.5 points a game. As a point guard who's 6'9", an all-star, a top draft pick, and scored 2 points, 0 points. The man took 4 field goals attempts. 4. 2 for 4 from the floor. He only went to the free throw line twice, and that was in the fourth. He made 1 out of 2. Maybe his free throws is quite better than his first 3 couple seasons. But you can't go in the damn playoff game and shoot 4 field goals when you're like the biggest man on the floor on the guard side. And that was abysmal. That was embarrassing for Ben Simmons. And this is the blame to Ben Simmons. Because the Sixers like Seth Curry, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, Matthijs Thybulle, George Hill, Maxey, Dwight Howard, they all played great defensively. And that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but they play great defensively. And you can't tell me that Ben Simmons played great defensively. He might have that great possession on the defensive end with a couple steals, but the guy needs to be better on the offensive end. And that's why the Sixers need to get rid of his bum ass. And I'm tired of Ben Simmons. And I love Ben Simmons. I love him as a player. And off the court, he trains with all the current stars in the NBA. But man, you cannot go in the Game 7 in the second round for a chance to go to the Eastern Finals to make a statement and play the Milwaukee Bucks and go in that game and attempt 4 field goals. And I'm not saying to shoot 50 shots. I'm not telling you to attempt 25 threes in a game. No. But you gotta attempt more than 4 shots. You gotta go inside. If you want to pull up at the elbow, pull it. If you want to shoot the 3 off a screen, go ahead. But you cannot go into a playoff game and in a losing effort, attempt 4 field goals. And even though the Sixers would have won, I would still have a debate and tell how Ben Simmons did not show up on the offensive end. Because no one is going to blame Joel Embiid. This guy, I told you guys 4 years ago in my other podcast, I said, trust the process. The time will come for Joel Embiid. He's been injured. He's been training hard, working hard. He's been criticized, and I even criticized Embiid. But looking now, an MVP type season, should have and could have won the most valuable player. And he has stepped up every playoff game. And yes, Embiid might took bad shots in game 1s and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. But this is a game 7. Game 7 is like a fresh game. Win or go home. And Joel Embiid had 31 points and 11 rebounds on 11 for 21 from the floor. He attempted 5 threes. He tried to do the best he can. But Ben Simmons gotta do more on the offensive end, man. I'm so ticked off for Ben Simmons. He said, I've developed. Everyone's like, yo, you're a Sixers fan. You gotta cheer for... Man, I've been cheering for Ben Simmons. But he has not developed one bit. He might improve his 3-point shooting. He might improve his defense and his free throw percentage. But he has to be aggressive. He's a damn point guard. You can't be a point guard and be the biggest guard combined, both teams, and go to a game, in a playoff game, and shoot 4 times. That is blasphemous. That is a big embarrassment for this franchise. And for all the fans, they got tired of not seeing Ben Simmons doing what he should be doing. Is taking that 10 to 18, 20 shots. I don't give a damn if you had 8 boards. I don't give a damn if you had double-digit assists. You guys, Philadelphia lost the damn game. And they should have won if Ben Simmons was aggressive on the offensive end. And if you could go watch the damn game, Ben Simmons did not do anything. Nothing. And Tobias Harris did not shoot the ball well. Yes, he attempted 24 shots. And yes, I'm proud of Tobias Harris attempting that shot. Because in Game 5, Tobias Harris had the worst game of his NBA career. Had the worst game as a rich man that he got a new contract and have 4 points. But this is game number 7. It's a new game, fresh start. And yes, Tobias Harris played 45 out of the 48 minutes, had 24 points and 14 boards, and he tried to do his best. Everyone's bailing out Ben Simmons, but you cannot keep bailing a point guard who shoots 4 times in a damn basketball game. It's an important freaking game. You cannot, especially against these Hawks who are red hot. They started the season 8-15. They fired their coach. They hired Nick McMillan. They made the playoffs as a 5th seed. They beat the Knicks, who were overrated, in 5 damn games. And Trae Young owns the New York Knicks. And then they played the 5th seed, played the number 1 seeded team in the Eastern Conference. The number 1 seeded team in the damn Eastern Conference. And they cannot get past the Hawks, who has a 6'2" sophomore point guard named Ice Young. You cannot stop the Ice Young, who they tried to stop him. He shot 5 for 23. He shot 2 for 11 from downtown. You gotta take advantage of this stat from Trae Young. And you let a guy... Man, you let a guy score 27 points and 7 rebounds. Kevin Huerter, of all people. That is unbelievable, Philadelphia. That's unbelievable. And I'm not the only one ticked off. Not only Philadelphia 76ers fans are ticked off. NBA fans who came to watch these number 1 seeded team, and they just blew it total. And it was a complete embarrassment, guys. And as a Sixers fan, is a big embarrassment, man. Imagine if I was at the game. Oh, thank God I didn't go to that damn game. Because witnessing Kevin Huerter career playoff high in points and shot 10 for 18, 50% from 3, that is horrible, guys. That I don't think that Sixers can revive from this. This is back-to-back disappointments in these playoffs. First, they were playing the Celtics every season. And yes, maybe the Celtics have advantage because they have Jason Tatum. But you're not playing Jason Tatum here. You're not playing a pesky defender in Marcus Smart. You're not playing former NBA champion Tristan Thompson. You're not playing against Kemba Walker, who's known to hit clutch. No, you're not playing against Brad Stevens' Celtics. You're playing against a team that's coached by Nate McMillan, a coach that got hired during the regular season, the pandemic season, and with injuries going everywhere, and hire a guy to coach a team during a pandemic, and they made the playoffs, and you cannot beat Hawks. And I know that playoff seeding does not matter, and you can ask Raymond King James. Doesn't matter the first seed, second seed, third seed, fourth seed. He will go to the NBA Finals and nobody will stop him. Remember in 2018? What seed was the Cleveland Cavaliers? They were the fourth seed. And in the Eastern Conference semifinals, who did they play? They played the Toronto Raptors, who were the first seed. And what happened there? Just what happened there? He just barged in DeMar DeRozan's game. He barged in all these. Like, come on. Playoff season does not matter. But you know who you're playing. You're playing by a team that's coached by Nate McMillan, who has never won an NBA title, who has never been to the promised land. You're playing guy Trae Young, and this is guys, I don't want you to think that I'm disrespecting Trae Young, the guard from Oklahoma City. The man is a beast, 6'2". But I know he's a beast, but the man is 6'2". And Ben Simmons, this goes back to Ben Simmons, because he should take advantage of this matchup. And they need to get rid of Ben Simmons, because every offseason trains with LeBron James, trains with Kobe, trains with Giannis, AD, and all these guys, and all these professional trainers. And at the end, he shoots 2 for 4 from the field. Scores 5 points in 35 minutes. Come on, man. You gotta do better than that. Maybe I wouldn't be this ticked off if we won, but we lost the dang game. And the crazy thing about all this is that we were at home. We were at the Wells Fargo Center. The fans cheering. And this was supposed to be the time to Ben Simmons to make a statement on NBA, on TNT. To make a statement in front of those guys in the TNT studios. But this is going to be another long night on Inside the NBA. Because we know that they won't criticize Seth Curry, who's averaged 28 points in this series. No. It won't be Tobias Harris, who had 20-plus points in every game except Game 5. They won't talk about Joel Embiid's double-double serious performance in all 7 games. They won't talk about Dwight Howard's huge block in the 4th. They won't talk about how Maxey went off in Game 6. No. None of that. They will talk about the guy, Ben Simmons. Like, what is this guy doing on the damn floor other than playing defense? Guys, game 1 had 17 and 10. Game 2 had 4 points. Game 3, 18 points. Game 4, 11. Game 5, 8. Game 6, 6. Game 7, 5. You must be kidding me, Ben Simmons. In game 1, shot 7 for 7 from the floor. Game 2, attempted 3 shots. Game 3, 11 shots. Game 4, 10 shots. But guys, game 5, the man attempted the same amount as he did in game 7. 2 for 4 from the floor. Missed 10 damn free throws. As nobody guarding him, he missed 10 free throws. And oh man, game 6, shot 2 for 6 again. 2 for 4 from downtown. The man has attempted 1 3-pointer in the last 42 games. Come on, Ben Simmons. And this is all on Mr. Simmons. If he gets shipped, I wouldn't be shocked. In fact, I'd be happy. I don't want him on the Sixers team. Maxey is a much better offensive guy than Ben Simmons. And, that was good. And another thing is, the Hawks did not use Lou Williams as much. The man played 11 minutes, the veteran. So you got Bogdanovic, who has struggled all series long from downtown. You got Trae Young in Game 7, struggled all night long except the fourth quarter. And that's why they call him Ice Young. They got 1 point from Ngongwu. They got 6 points from Lou Williams. They did not have Cam Reddish. They haven't had Cam Reddish all series long. Capella didn't have a great game as well. Collins only had 14 points. So after all this, you cannot take advantage of what I just said? Man, that is one of the... This is a big franchise disappointment. And all these years, it was always Joel Embiid. It was always that Jimmy Butler struggled in Game 7 against the Raptors in the 2019 in the semifinals. He had 16 points in 48 minutes. But in 2020, the pandemic, that's when the pandemic started. Embiid struggled against the Celtics in the first round. In the first round, they lost to the Celtics, who ended up going to the Eastern Conference Finals. But he struggled, and Simmons did not play. So Embiid was doing everything, and Embiid was always shooting jumpers instead of going inside. And yes, I criticized him for that. But I said Ben Simmons is injured, and this is his chance next season to do something. And yes, it changed. Everything changed in the regular season. But as you guys know, in big games that's on national TV, on ESPN, on NBA, on TNT, and all these national TV games, Ben Simmons attempted less than 5 field goals. And that cannot happen, gentlemen. That cannot happen. Especially to this franchise who is known to play great in the playoffs. Shades of AI. But Ben Simmons is shades of nobody. Is shades of that bum who's on YouTube, Kwame Brown or Brian Scalabrine. Because that's what Ben Simmons is doing. And I'm disappointed in the Sixers overall. But Ben Simmons was a piece of garbage. It's a bum. He's a bum, man. Like Charles always says, bum, bum, bum. But congratulations for the Atlanta Hawks. They're reaching for their first conference finals since they faced the Cavs in 2016. And we will do a preview in our next segment for the conference finals in the NBA, and we want to thank the Sixers for a great regular season to a disappointing, to a complete disappointing end to their season. But guys, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you guys understand why I'm ticked off, because Ben Simmons shit the bed. It's your host, DJ Joe, signing out.